Hello everybody, it's BearCozy, and today we're running some Stormwolf. Now, Stormwolf is a recent find. This is not my build, but this is a build that I'm enjoying very much. At first glance, this guy doesn't hit very hard, but he hits extremely fast, giving us lots of damage, lots of sustainability as well, lots of AoE, lots of single target. Plus, we poison our enemies, which is really good. And whenever there are poison enemies, whenever there are 3 or more poison enemies around us, that is due to the legendary node, we do extra damage. So that helps a lot. And then, of course, we take less damage from poison enemies around us. So it's actually working out really nice. So today, I wanted to show off this build a little bit. And right now, we're not going to do a deep dive into this build. Right now, we're just going to run a Tier 22 Nightmare because we're making really good progress. And this build actually works really well. I'm really enjoying it. And this whole run was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Lots of mobs here. Pretty good density here. Not the best that I've seen, but pretty good, pretty quick. The whole run took about 8 or 9 minutes for the complete dungeon. And this is actually one of the slower dungeons because we have to slay all of the enemies at the end. But it was very enjoyable. So what makes this build work is the Staff of Crones, and this whole build is actually primary attacks, just basic attacks, no resource needed, so we are always full on resource, which is very nice. Very straightforward build to run, which is very good, very enjoyable, and it's a nice change from the bear. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I've used the Druid bear for a while. I used the pulverized bear for a while, learned how to play him, pushed some nightmare dungeons, was pretty good. And the common question I was getting was, how do you actually play this? My damage is really weak on the bear, lots of white hits, he's not doing enough damage. So I did address that in another video on how to actually play this. And I think for this we might do the same. So for this video, we're just going to run this nightmare dungeon. We're going to enjoy it. And if you like what you see in the next video, we're going to go over how to actually play this Storm Druid. That is not my build, as I mentioned before. I'm not the creator, but I am enjoying the build. And the problem that I'm seeing, the common problem is most of the builds, most of the guides and the builds are endgame, where people that are level 99 or 100 make these guides. And the people like you and me that are leveling, trying to figure out how do you actually play this thing, because we are not min-maxed. We don't have all of the gear. We don't have all of the required substats on our gear. We just want to slap on some gear and have something to level while we get to 100. So if you enjoy this video, in the next video, we're going to explore how to actually play the Stormwolf. Stormwolf is a lot of fun. As I mentioned before, it's all basic skills. Has lots of sustain, right? What's given us a lot of sustain is we are AoEing. Claw is actually a storm skill, which is very nice. You can see storm popping off there. And because we're attacking really fast, my gloves actually give me a 5% chance to heal for 900 plus HP. And because we're attacking really fast, we are always healed, pretty much always, unless we stand in stuff. And we do stand in stuff all the time. So he is very tanky. He has lots of sustain. So I'm really enjoying this build. Much tankier than the bear, which I would have never thought. So this build is all primary basic attacks, which is very nice. When we hit enemies, we do poison them. And poison enemies not only take increased damage from us, but they also deal decreased damage to us, which is very nice. And then, as I mentioned before, we are healing all the time. And for mobs like this, for areas like this, it works out really well when there are lots of enemies around here. It works out really well. We are hitting everybody. And then, of course, we do have the rage, the bear rage, grizzly rage, which is actually wolf rage now, thanks to one of our aspects. And we have the bite, poisoning enemies, spreading rabies to everybody, which poisons everybody. It spreads fairly quickly. And then they, thanks to a legendary node, we actually deal 45% more increased damage if there are poison enemies, 3 or more poison enemies around us. And since the rabies spread very quickly, since our basic attacks poison enemies as well, that is very easy to do. So as you can see, we are moving on to the second part. This dungeon was actually really quick. This whole run was 8 or 9 minutes. Not too bad. Considering we have to slay all enemies, I thought it would take a lot longer, considering this is tier 22. Now, as I've mentioned, this is not a video on showing off how high of a tier I can push. I am still leveling, so please don't leave me comments saying you're only running 22. Why aren't you showing 37 or 40? Why aren't you showing 50 plus? And I'm still leveling. As you can see, I'm not level 100. So please don't leave me those comments. This is not a video on showing off. This is a video on progression. For me, the most fun I have in the game is progression. Progression is what makes the game really, really fun for me. Seeing the progress, seeing you get stronger, seeing you get better gear over time. What I don't want to do is post videos with unrealistic expectations because most people are still leveling. Not everybody is 100 yet. The game hasn't been out very long. So this guy, you could see he's plowing through pretty good. Lots of AoE, lots of sustain. We're not really using potions unless we do something silly, or if I just stand and tank, which I do quite a bit. I very frequently, I like to just stand there and just tank all the damage just because I can. And I enjoy playing classes that can tank a ton of damage just because I can. I enjoy playing tanky characters and very sustain heavy. So this guy doesn't have a ton of armor, although he is very tanky, but his build primarily is more on sustain. As long as we keep hitting, we keep healing, which works out really, really nice. So lots of spiders, as you can see, spiders poison, lots of stuff blowing up. We're just tanking all of it, everything that's blowing up, standing right in it, don't even mind it. And then when the spiders, you kill the spiders, they summon more. So it makes it fun. Lots of density in this one, lots of experience. I'm currently level 73, still leveling. Now, as of recording of this video, I am actually pushing tier 25 and 26. So we're going to dive into that in the next video, talking about how to make this build work, how to actually play this build, as that's one of the comments that I see very frequently. I made a video on the bear, how to actually play the bear in the last video, and that worked out really well. A lot of you enjoyed it, saying thank you very much. I answered a lot of questions that people had because they were still struggling with Pulverized Bear. It's one thing to see it on paper, one thing to see it all maxed out, but when you get in there and when you're not doing enough damage, when he feels really weak, it's hard to figure out what the heck is wrong, what is the problem. So I addressed that in the last video, and the response I got was very good. So after this video, in the next video, we're going to do the same. We're going to go over how to play Stormwolf. If you enjoyed this video, if this is something that appeals to you, check that video out. I will go over exactly how to play Stormwolf, how to actually play it. It's fairly straightforward, but hopefully I can help out if you are feeling stuck. Hopefully I can help out. So moving right along, you can see me taking a ton of damage here. The shamans are pretty tough. Some of these guys are pretty tough. And sometimes I get into a groove where you're just not doing enough damage for some reason. I'm not sure if it's fortification on one of the guys or whatever, but some of them go down really fast, and then some of them it just feels like we are pounding on them forever. Maybe we're not clicking on the right guy. He is single target. Primarily, this build is single target. However, it does affect multiple enemies, as you've seen, but you have to click on the correct enemy to do really good damage. So this build works out really, really well. So far, so good. Travel to the Fallen City. Here we go. Moving into the boss. This is very, very quick. I thought this build was pretty good. Popping Bear Rage there. We're going to go ahead and use our ultimate, and we're going to make him bleed out. And we're actually poisoning him, and he's just going to go down. As you can see, the damage is pretty good so far. This is the best build that I've played, and this is the fastest runtime on any character. So this was Tier 22 Whispering Pines. Very, very enjoyable run. In the next video, we're going to go over how to actually play this build if you are interested, if you are struggling. For now, hit the like and the subscribe, and for more BearCozy videos, check out the top right.